Antwerp, Belgium, February 16, 2003. Two floors beneath the street, in a vault protected by 10 layers of security. A man is in the dark. He is not supposed to be here. Nobody is supposed to be here. So, how easier? Let's find out. By the time the sun comes up, he and his crew will walk away with diamonds, gold, and jewelry worth over $100 million from a vault that experts call impossible to crack. They will get almost all of it clean. Almost. His name was Leonardo Bartolo, born in Tournai, Italy. He wasn't new to this. He has been stealing since he was a kid. Small stuff first, then bigger. By the time he was older, he was already known across to Europe as a professional jewel thief. Patient and careful, yet nobody has able to identify him. And in late 1990s, Leonardo set his sight on the single hardest target in the world of diamonds, the Antwerp Diamond Center. Roughly 8 out of every 10 rough diamonds on Earth pass through this district at some points. Billions of dollars move through these few blocks every single year. And underneath one particular building sat a vault that people in the trade genuinely believed could not be cracked. So how was it cracked? Let's find out. Leonardo wasn't some outsider. He rented an office right there in Diamond Center. A legitimate paying tenant, badge and all. That single move gave him something no outside thief could buy. Legal access to the room he intended to rob. For over 2 years, he came and went. He watched, he learned the rhythm of the cars, the timing of the petrol, and a small gap in the routine that never seemed to change. Belgium police believe he assembled a small crew of specialists, each handling a piece of the puzzle. Italian professionals, the press who later nicknamed La Scuola di Torino, the School of Tournai. So, the crew came together as 5 members. Leonardo Bartolo, the artist, the mastermind, the man who spent years posing as a diamond merchant to map the entire world. Pietro Tovano, Speedy, a long-time close childhood friend of Leonardo who engaged in various low-level Italian robbers. Ferdinando Fianto, the monster, tall, muscular Italian thief with heavy background in mechanical engineering and lockpicking. The genius, a highly skilled electronic technician, was highly sought after by the criminal rings. The King of Keys, a elderly European locksmith, widely whispered about in the criminal underworld as one of the greatest key forgers to ever live. 5 men, 1 vault, 10 layers of security standing between them and history. On the weekend of February 15th and 16th, 2003, here's what stood between Leonardo's crew and the vault's door. Hidden camera. They planted a small hidden camera above the vault's door before the heist, feeding video to the recorder stashed inside. Night after night, that camera watched the cars punching the combination until the crew had it memorized. Motion sensors. The vault's motion sensor could detect body heat the instant someone walked in, so on earlier visit, Leonardo simply sprayed the sensor with some ordinary hairspray, coating the lens just enough to blind it, without triggering an alarm. Magnetic sensors. The magnetic field was a real trap. Break contact between its two plates and the alarm goes off. So the crew waited for a moment when the field was switched off for routine work, quietly loosened the screw, pulling the plates, and slipped a thin aluminum seam. So when the ice finally came, that seam kept the plates connected. The field stayed unbroken. The entire time the door swung open. Light sensors. Inside the vault sat a light sensor and infrared beam. The crew taped over the light sensors, then simply switched on the lights to work. For infrared beam, one of them held up a sheet of firm, plain polyester to block his own body from ever reaching it. Once inside, they pried open the inner gate with a crowbar. then brought out a hand crank device specifically built to pop open the safe deposit boxes one after another. When the sun came up, over hundreds of the false 189 boxes had been opened and emptied. Here's the thing about a perfect crime, it only stays perfect until one person panics. That person was Pietro Tovano, known to the crew as the Speedy, a lifelong friend of Leonardo's, but not a man built for this kind of pressure. In the days after heist, Speedy tried to get rid of evidence along a quiet roadside trash that included an envelope printed with words like Diamond Center, Antwerp, scattered videotape, and incredibly a receipt tying directly back to the crew. It was enough. Investigators traced the evidence back to Leonardo and he was arrested. So were most of others. Leonardo was sentenced to 10 years. Other received 5. He would later claim from a prison that the real mastermind behind the job was someone else entirely, an unnamed diamond dealer who hired him and was never caught. Whether that's true has never been proven. And the diamonds, the gold, the more than $100 million in the stolen goods. None of it ever was recovered. Some investigators believe much of it was melted down, recut, or scattered in the diamond's trade so completely that it simply became untraceable, sitting quietly, quite possibly in the rings, necklaces nobody suspected at all. Today, the Antwerp Diamond Center still runs. The vault was rebuilt, resecured, and upgraded. But somewhere out there, in a drawer, a safe, a ring on someone's hands, a piece of the biggest diamond heist in the history is still out there. Nobody has found it yet.